Greetings to the global community. My name is Leonardo Reyes, and well, this time I want to share a reflection on the first president, pro-crypto, Donald Trump, who has taken possession on January 20th, 2025, as the 47th President of the United States of America. So the question is, it's a reflection that I'm making and want to share with all of you. A new crypto era is beginning. It could be important for our profession in project management, product management, and PM, or let's talk about it. Before we move on, smash that like button, and if you find it interesting, share it with your professional network. This lets me know that you appreciate my work of sharing experiences and knowledge. Thank you. If you're not subscribed yet, hit that bell so you don't miss the upcoming videos I'll be sharing throughout 2025. Well, I think it could be important that Donald Trump is the first pro-crypto president and drives the entire industry. When we talk about the industry, we're talking about the blockchain industry, which has been going on for several years now, changing the world in every way. Most of you might think it's just Bitcoin, but there's so much more behind it. Others will say that artificial intelligence is changing. Yes, of course. Artificial intelligence, at the level of repetitive, operational tasks, is indeed changing the world at all levels, in every way. And on the other hand, blockchain is changing industries. Why does it change them? Because it's changing the way we work, or the way we're used to doing certain jobs, businesses, infrastructures, technologies. Well, it's completely changing the technology. Totally. Jobs, businesses, infrastructures, technologies. Well, it's completely changing the technology. Absolutely. But that's for another time. Here, I just want to focus because I think it's important. Well, because adopting technologies like blockchain and everything related to cryptocurrencies. Bitcoin as a flag can create a strategic reserve for the United States. No longer just gold to defend its economy, but also digital gold, which is Bitcoin. And this could have a very significant impact all around the world. How would this impact, for example, those of us in Europe? Well, because here in Europe we're more focused on regulating than on innovating. Well, we would be going against the tide, because here in Europe it has always been like that. Like most of the world, not in every country. But it has been a frontal attack from the entire crypto environment here in Europe, especially regarding cryptocurrencies. What am I basing this on? Well, here, they're taxing us. Justifying taxes on cryptocurrency issues. While Donald Trump is pushing or wants to push for very low taxes on the whole thing. Crypto, let's say, technology, projects, innovation in blockchain, like holders of cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and all the others, like Solana So, Adade, from Cardano, and many others, Ethereum, etc. All those known as altcoins are the ones that support projects in some way, centralized and decentralized. Everyone in the blockchain for a totally different way of working. So I think it could have an impact. And this. Why would that be? Because companies and professionals are currently working, getting ready the new generation for blockchain topics. Everyone is going to work for companies in the United States, whether it's in person or remote. Show covering companies. Here, those spaces of people, of brilliant minds, great professionals, and in our profession, at the level of project management and PMO, they're going to leave Europe. That's why the impact is really strong. Another reason could be that he uses Bitcoin as a currency to back the dollar, making the North American economy stronger. On the flip side, I'm in Spain, in Europe, if this isn't done in the same way. The euro will continue to lose importance and will keep losing value. Not only will we no longer have quality jobs, but also our currency and our economies will go worse. That means our profession could be impacted, because then, if we're not prepared for the new technologies as project managers, even if we have certifications in projects, we won't be ready, or at least, we won't have the same opportunities as if we were ready and prepared. Because if here in Europe, the European community pushes the whole block exchange technology and becomes pro-crypto, they would be creating a ton of job opportunities. A ton of course topics, training, certifications to get us ready, which is why a huge opportunity is being lost within our profession. Of course it will be affected. And of course, another point that's really important to consider is that all the investments and all the money that's here in Europe and the rest of the world, well, they will go to the United States. Why? Because if I set up a tech company or something similar or related where I want to charge or I can offer services and they pay me in cryptocurrencies or they are developing innovation projects in blockchain, obviously the payment is in crypto. That's right, logically, here I'll face a lot of hurdles, a lot of bureaucratic issues, and on top of that, I'll be paying a ton of taxes, even before I even get a project off the ground. That's the problem that happens in Europe. Even before starting a project. That's the problem that happens in Europe. That regulates so much. And in Spain, for example, before you even get a business up and running, you're already paying a ton of taxes. So since they are companies, digital projects, most likely they'll all head to the United States, weakening a lot. Not just the economy, but also all that money that could strengthen and create more companies, more projects, more jobs. All those investments will leave Europe. A very concerning topic, honestly. So you might say, hey, Leonardo, but in day-to-day life, for those of us in project management, how could it impact us? Well, I'll just mention three very quick, or very specific examples without going into too much detail. In the financial and banking sector. Right now in the United States, there are already many banks and others that they call exchanges, which are digital banks. 100%. I'm not talking about neobanks, okay? I'm talking about financial entities, exchanges that offer cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin for buying, selling, trading, whatever, through peer-to-peer, meaning through euros. Europe, pesos, dollars. In the rest of the world, it's the same. Whatever it is, you can buy. You can access this world. I was buying, with my aunt, my country's currency, local currency. I have access to that in a way that many are already making transactions. You can buy products, services, currencies, which makes it easier, depending on the circumstances and how we get involved. So defend our purchasing power against the fiat currency that's losing value due to inflation. Power artist. Someone might rightly say, but it's very volatile. This whole topic is correct, but it is volatile for many reasons that are not worth explaining. Also, I don't think I'm the best person to explain these details. Even though I've been doing this for many years, I know what I'm talking about and I know how it works. But I recommend you all to check out other videos, other YouTube channels, from big YouTubers who explain this way better than I do. Those topics that I. But, on the other hand, Are there industries or innovation projects in blockchain, this team says, which are already allowing many banks to access these services in the US? For example, the famous PTPs, so that people who want to invest in Bitcoin and now in the language can do so, which are already allowing many banks to access these services in the U.S. For example, the famous PTPs, so that people who want to invest in Bitcoin and now in the language can do so through their traditional bank. Let's say the traditional bank will sell them the Bitcoins. I personally wouldn't do it. In fact, I would not recommend it. Because instead of buying them from the banks, I would buy them directly from the exchanges, where Bitcoin stands as a technology. But that's another topic. Now, other projects are also already. What's the difference? Exchanges can give you a card where you can buy with crypto or in fiat, both. These days, very few banks are going to give you a Visa or MasterCard that you can use to buy crypto. So, the whole banking financial sector is evolving. It's going over there, but it's going so slow, at least in Europe. With the new MiCA now, regulation is moving really slowly. Does that mean it's going to take a few years before a traditional bank, where we have our everyday savings account, or where we get our paycheck, of our everyday savings account, or where we get our paycheck, a card where you, with that card from this regular traditional bank, can buy or pay for crypto services? Straight up. And you look, what is that, Leonardo? It's really easy. Imagine that you are going to buy an antivirus. Can I say something? Quick, easy, I'm going to buy an antivirus. And it says, okay. 10 fairies, a coin under, which is used for charging. Yeah, because the antivirus company X has decided that they can charge with ADA, or Bitcoin or Ethereum. So I'll say, hey, I have in my exchange bank, in my blockchain bank, digital, ADA, and it costs me 10. So I take that card and with it, I pay the 10 ADA. I'm not paying in fiat. I'm not paying in euros. Yeah, so there are a lot of companies, products, and services that sell what they have in currency. In currency of cryptocurrencies. Sorry, not just Bitcoin. The most normal and traditional one is Bitcoin, of course. The most accepted one and the one that's dominating. But I'm assuming that in the near future, you'll be able to make payments with anyone. Mobile phones, for example, in Web3. You buy them with Sol currency, Solana, or USDT, which is a currency that is equivalent to the dollar. But in cryptocurrency, it's a bit complex to explain, and I don't want to go on too long, but the banking financial sector will be one of the big sectors that will be affected by the crypto world. Sectors and areas that will be affected by the world. Crypto. How would it affect us if we're involved in some projects in the PMO, with digital transformation projects in the world? Crypto. As project managers, we need to understand how this works. Because it's not just the payment gateways, which are also complex, but understanding how this whole world works. Crypto, because of the volatility that different transactions of different cryptocurrencies can have. Bitcoin, or altcoins, or, from a strategic point of view, just deciding to accept Bitcoin, for example, until you have everything. Of course. 2. Understand how the world works and how to offer to the young clients of today, those who are under 30 years old now in the future, or those who are now teenagers in the future, it will all be crypto. Thinking to not lose market share of how we offer to those young kids who dominate the world. Crypto, some cards from our bank. With everything being digital, it's really complex. That's a second sector. Logistics sector and the supply chain. Of course, here we need to understand that through blog, exchange technology, It creates traceability from the start, from the exit to the end of any type of product, from one country to another. A quick, easy, and concrete example: imagine Valencia oranges, which are the best in the world. From my perspective, it's when a person in Shanghai or in Los Angeles or Mexico City sees or arrives at the supermarket and sees oranges, they should know that it's from Valencia. And also that they know they are oranges, that they aren't genetically modified, that they're natural from the land, without, without phosphates, without chemicals, without anything. How could they know that? Well, because from the beginning, where all the land, all the orange trees areas, hectares of orange trees. Those oranges on the blockchain have an ID, so you can trace them back to Valencia. From what town, from what company, from which area, or hectare of land, from which tree and where that orange comes from. And there, with an ID on the blockchain, a token, you can know everything. The lifespan of that orange, how long it took to grow from the tree until it reaches the ideal size to be picked and sold. What's the process? If they're people, if they're robots, how those trees are growing, can they have chemicals or not, etc., etc., etc. And then, when it comes out from where? Port of Valencia, at which stops, how long it takes, all that tracking, all that traceability would be immutable. That is to say, it couldn't be modified. So with those starting tags, when I go to the supermarket, maybe with a mobile phone, that reads blockchain stuff, technology, like a QR code, you know what I mean. I scan it, and then I would get all the information. I would decide whether to buy that product or not. I wouldn't be fooled by labels, which might be fake. Plus, I wouldn't be fooled by whoever is selling it to me, because there are labels that could be fake, saying it has nothing when it actually has chemicals. So, within project management and PMO, we can lead these digital transformation projects. Total. And we can, from these companies that are dedicated to oranges, just like any other product, and help them create projects where, through blockchain technology in their own companies, they can have that tracking and offer it to their buyers. So that when they do business, they can say, look, my oranges are the best in the world, and explaining why they don't have any chemicals. There are people who really value that more. And that could be oranges, it could be eggs, it could be bottles of wine, it could be clothes. For example, when we buy clothes, that is Gen. Erad in places where children don't work, where people don't work. Like slaves, you know what I mean, they don't get out of there, they're just working. Right. There are processes where work hours, people, spaces, etc., etc., etc. are respected, right? That's why, as Project One Optimal, we can, or we should be able to offer that too. Example number 3. This is a pretty complex topic, but I want to touch on it, the healthcare sector. Many times, when we go to see a doctor, we have to explain our whole life. What hurts, how it happened, and so on, and so forth. Then, that doctor leaves for whatever reason, and a new doctor comes in. And you have to explain the whole story all over again. And so, of course, it's frustrating. There are cases, that's the least of it. There are other cases where, for example, if it's centralized in some server, hackers can come in and steal that information in a way that allows for manipulation. They can. put information about a person saying they're healthy when in fact they're completely sick and might only have 6 months to live. Why? Because when they access that system, for whatever reason, it manipulates the information because they want that person to feel a certain way. And based on that, they might prescribe medication to treat something when the person is perfectly healthy. Right. And based on that, they might prescribe medication to treat something when the person is perfectly healthy. Yeah, very dangerous. On the other hand, what would happen with blockchain in the sector, health? We could have our medical record decentralized. It would be very hard to hack. Obviously, there would need to be a very sophisticated level of importance and knowledge here for, as users, to keep our information safe. But just imagine if we had our information in a secure way. Secure. Our information. That it couldn't be hacked. Obviously, someone will say, hey, but with a quantum computer, if they hack the financial system with a quantum computer, the whole world could come crashing down. Although I'm going to say one thing. Cardano is currently creating projects to prevent a quantum computer from being able to hack the blockchain. At least the projects on the Cardano blockchain network are. The topic is interesting. But anyway, getting back to the topic, if we were in charge of this information, we could have it on a flash drive or something. Our talk about flash drives from the perspective of blockchain is, or wallets, the cold wallets, which are commonly known as cold wallets, where cryptocurrencies are stored that aren't online from the internet, which makes it impossible to hack. We could have our digital identity online. 3. Where only we own the information, where no one could steal it, no one could alter it. We could have all of that there, and maybe with future projects. To know, to understand, how we can have a better life from a medical standpoint. Of course, physical and mental. For example, those files would be ours. They wouldn't belong to anyone else. I insist. I see that for the near future. If I'm working, I'm a project manager at a PMA in a sector, health. Could that be it? Could we develop projects on the blockchain? It could be a private blockchain for the sector, health. There wouldn't be cloud servers in the cloud, which, even though they have a lot of security, they can be hacked pretty easily. Blockchain is way harder because, when using tokens, well, they range from 32 to 64 hexadecimal. To hack, there are millions of combinations. Right. That's why only a quantum computer is capable of doing it. We could have them. So it would be practically impossible that, even if hackers got in to see that information, if they didn't have our keys, I mean, if we had our records on the blockchain, only we would have access. For those keys, we go to the doctor, the information is there, and at that moment we give our access key, and then all the information is visible. So, if something were to get hacked, without that access key that I have at home, no one would be able to get in, for example. Interesting, right? Well, then. In conclusion, I believe that the integration of blockchain in PMOs and project management not only transforms critical processes, but it can also significantly improve transparency, efficiency, and collaboration. Security. As we've mentioned in these 3 examples, this technological advancement can drive PMOs to evolve into these more agile structures, more advanced, more cost-effective, and potentially becoming leaders in innovation worldwide. Now, if Donald Trump comes back, if it's a new crypto era, like the first president in the world, pro-crypto, could be a historic turning point to drive all this technology. Because I will drive the technology. The role for your country, obviously, but sure. And others are others. Companies. Startups won't be interested in creating something new, just to sell to the U.S. Of course, and as for Project Mana, it's already well established, or the Mana product is already here. In this case, we're talking about digital products, of course, and one already has the time, of course. So, I think it's important to have all of this in mind. In the end, with the influence that the first pro-crypto president, Donald Trump, might have, starting in 2025, can influence on a large scale with all of this. I don't know to what extent, even more than artificial intelligence. So, well, it won't just be changes, technological changes, but there will also be economic changes or a technological economic revolution on both fronts. And here I think that in a small to medium-sized enterprise today, like Project Mothers, programming is done by a manager. And all the roles that we're in, etc., 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 and all the roles that we're in this world. I think that staying up to date in blockchain solutions could give us a huge, unprecedented level of efficiency and competitiveness on a global scale. I don't know what you all think. I leave you the comments so you can share. I've loved it. Be able to read, and whenever I hear you, and whenever you leave a comment, I try to respond. So, thank you very much, and until next time.